All righty, let's get started. Good afternoon and welcome to the Ogden City Council meeting of January 2nd, 2018. This is the 4 p.m. special meeting. With that, I want to say that all council members are present at this time. With that, I'll turn the time over to Vice Chair Heyer to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Chair White. It is my pleasure to lead us in the pledge tonight, so if you would please rise and repeat the pledge with me. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please take a moment of silence with me. Thank you very much. Well, this is a fun afternoon for us. It's the incoming and outgoing. So, next on our agenda is comments from our outgoing council member, Neil Garner. You didn't know that it was coming so quickly?
No, not that quick. Well, thank you. This is mixed feelings for me today. As I was just mentioning to Luis, lots of joy and happiness, and then there's been times of really hard work and struggles. I look out in the audience, and I have many friends here, but I just truly am grateful, first for the friends and neighbors who encouraged me to run for council, who supported me during the elections, and supported me while I was in office. They would call me, many neighbors, sometimes with opposing views on each side of my home. And, we say truly that we want to reach out and to our constituents. But as Bill Cook taught us all early on, is you find that balance. You find out, what you can do, that you can still uphold your values and maintain your integrity and do those things which in your heart are right. And as I have worked with new council members, I've told them, always go with what you know is right. I also want to thank my fellow council members. We spend many, many hours together, not just here in the council chambers, but in our work sessions, in the committees that we are serving out in the community. And some of those former council members are here, and I count them to be some of my dearest friends. I see Amy right here in front of me. We've got Susie and Dwayne that are here, Bill Cook, and Caitlin. And many times we had very long work sessions where we learned the importance of compromise. We learned the importance of doing what's right for this community and for those that we represent. When I ran for office 8 years ago, I said that I would serve as long as I really felt there was that passion in my heart and big issues to deal with. And my platform when I ran for office was to really push for public safety and for our city infrastructure. And I think that as a council member, I really focused on those things as we really worked hard on our water system. Many of you now look up to the foothills above Weber State and hardly remember there was 2 very large water tanks up there. And now you don't see where our water storage is, but there's a 5 million gallon tank underneath that's protected for many, many years to come with all the data and electronics that was needed. I remember Justin telling us all of the things that we needed to have for that system to work well. And we worked very hard to meet the needs of our community and also listen to the citizens. When we put our water line down the Ogden Canyon, that was a big step for us along those same lines. And then it continues to be our focus to support our infrastructure in the city with our water system, our pipes, and our sidewalks. And I think our sidewalks will always be that issue that we'll be working on. And then I want to thank those who are here on this stand with me today. Amy Sue Mabey, who quickly becomes a friend of all the council members. Early on, she was there with her camera in hand and always taking those shots that made us smile. And if we tried to turn the camera on her, we knew what the answer would be. I want to thank Glenn. In council chambers, he was right next to me, always answering those questions I had. There is a true friend. And I'm just going down the line. Gary helped me deal with some very personal issues and was there when I needed him and helped me through those. And then Janine, always taking those late calls and saying, help me understand this just a little bit more. And can you research this for me and get me these answers? And she was always doing whatever I needed her to do. And then Mark Johnson, I want to thank you for your friendship, for your support of the council, and always helping us understand, the roles for each of us, but what's important for the citizens of our community. And then the two mayors that I've served with, Mayor Godfrey, helped move this city forward, and he helped me also understand the importance of compromise and to open discussion and working through issues. We had many open discussions about lots of things that needed to be done in the city. And then Mayor Caldwell, I fondly remember your first day in office. It was the shooting that was in my neighborhood, and so it was a very big deal. I had children and friends that were sequestered in a church building, not knowing what to do, that was right across the street from where this incident was occurring. I had family members calling me, asking me what was going on and why they couldn't get to their family. But I knew that we were in good hands. I have full faith in our city law enforcement. I work side by side with our police and fire department, and I will continue to do that in my profession, and I hold them as very dear friends. And then my fellow council members. Doug, I will honestly say, has been the one that has probably called me the most of all the council members, and we discuss things a lot over the phone, and we discuss a lot of issues in person. And then I have Luis and Ben, two outstanding men who really believe in what they're doing. I think that they're continuing to develop in this role and learning how important it is to work together as a council. And we do that. I want the people who are here to know this, that city council members work very hard to work through the issues, to study them. And many citizens don't see the hours and hours we spend behind the scenes in work sessions and studying and getting information and reviewing packets and then studying on our own. And then when we come up with the decisions that we do make, we know that we have really looked at all the issues. And I want to thank Bart. I will count Bart as one of my dearest friends. He's one of my neighbors. He serves with me in ecclesiastical groups outside of work and outside of the council. We've spent many trips together, and I will always cherish those times. And Rich, I've been to his home many times. I count him as just such a man of integrity and really tries to help people stay focused on what we need to do. And last, but very much not least, is Marcia. She texted me on New Year's Eve and just wished me a Happy New Year and told me how much she would miss me, and I can't echo that enough. What a dear friend. And then I just want to thank the citizens of Ogden for their support, and all of those who I've served with in committees. And I really, truly know that the person who is replacing me will continue to hold up those standards of integrity and hard work and dedication. And I just wish Angela the very best. And I know that she will represent my district very well and be a great member of this council. And I just want to say these things, and last thing, thank my family and my children and my wife. And as I leave this council, that's what will be my focus. I need to focus on my family and my career. And I thank you all very much. Thank you.
Any comments from the other council members?
Let's give him the gift.
Neil, with this, we have a gift for you. You mentioned Amy Sue, but there is like a flash drive full of pictures of you and a book.
Thank you.
Won't make you go down in front. Better get you in the middle, though. Let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. There we go. Here we go.
Hold his book.
Oh, you want him to hold the book?
Yep. Just one more picture of him.
Yeah, I mean, oh, good one.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Snap it here.
Thank you.
So I think there's room to have people sign that too, Neil. So if you want to leave it outside for people to make comments, that would be great. Okay. Oh,
Want me to go?
yeah, sure. And
I'll go ahead and go.
3 things or 5?
Neil and I came in together. 8 years ago, we ran, and we talked a little bit together during the campaign, and we were both so excited when we won. We were so new and weren't sure what we were doing, and without ever getting a chance to really celebrate, Bill pulled us aside and said, "Let's go, it's time to go to work." And we've been neck deep since. So I was trying to think of the things that Neil and I have done together during our time, and just a couple things I jotted down. Like I said, Neil and I came in together. Neil and I learned together. Neil and I learned from each other. Neil and I laughed together. Neil and I served in leadership together, which was an honor for me to be able to serve with Neil in leadership and see him in that capacity. I don't know how you all got out of that so quickly, but Neil and I had long talks in the parking lot. You guys must have bolted. But Neil was always there to talk to me in the parking lot. Even if it was 7 degrees outside, he'd talk to me, and we had great talks out in the parking lot. Neil and I always marched together. We marched at different events, and we went to different events, and it seemed like we always were together. And that was always fun for me. I look forward to those. And last but not least, Neil and I skydived together. There was an invitation to skydive, and I thought, oh, that sounds great. Let the other people do that. And Neil looked right at me and said, I'm in. You coming? And he was that way on the plane, too. He was one of the first ones out, and I thought, I got to follow. So I appreciate that. It was truly one of my favorite memories. Just a little bit about Neil. Neil loves Ogden. He loves everything about Ogden. He loves the citizens, the employees, the businesses here, the businesses that we're attracting, the landscape of our city. And he has a great vision for our city, and he wants our city to be great, and he works very hard to bring that vision to each one of us. Neil is a hard worker. I am always amazed at how hard he works and how much he does. And a lot of it goes unnoticed, and he is truly a hard worker. Neil is a quiet leader. When you've listened to him, he never gets real animated. In fact, he might even get quieter. But Neil speaks with great confidence, and Neil knows what he's saying. And when Neil speaks, he's taken both sides into account. He's done his research, and he truly believes the direction he's going is truly what's best and what he thinks is right, and I respect him for that. Neil is a great listener. Like I said, I was able to talk and have him listen to me a lot, but I was always amazed wherever we'd go, people would come up and talk to him. People always felt like they could talk to him and tell them what they loved about Ogden or what they wanted to see improved. And Neil always listened and always took that down and always made sure that those were carried through. Neil was always prepared. Neil always came to every meeting prepared. He knew what was going to be discussed, and he was ready to discuss it. This goes without saying, but Neil is a wonderful father and husband, and truly one of my best and dearest friends. And I just want to thank him for everything that we had together, and I wish him nothing but the best in his next chapter. So thanks, Neil.
Well, maybe I'll chime in here. Neil and I have been on the council for some time. In fact, we hold down this end of the table, so that's good. I remember some of the things that has transpired. We had an opportunity over at the old stadium, there, and we signed up for Real Men Can Cook. Now, that's a real interesting topic when you talk about men cooking. So, but Neil was there, and he participated, and it was a great time to associate with this councilman. The parades, he really had an interest in how the parade should go, and he really wanted to feel the feelings of the people. There was those who were coming. And Neil, as Bart mentioned, I have a phobia of jumping out on an honest, good plane. I don't see the wisdom of jumping out there, but I'm sure that was an exciting moment that you had. The other thing that I remember is that whenever we have the mayor discussions, Neil would always say, "What about the top 5, Mayor?" And then the mayor would give his top 5. I think of Neil with values and integrity. And if I could incorporate in my life those items, then I'm a better person for that. And that was what Neil taught to me, is that he has values and he has integrity. Integrity of service, integrity of the community which he lives, integrity of living in this great country and providing the opportunities for the residents of here in Ogden. He has a calming feeling. Whenever we go into a discussion, Neil would ask those questions that needed to be asked, but he also had a calming and an insight to the principles that we were talking about. He had common knowledge of the residents of our community, the men and women and children who walk up and down Washington Boulevard. He wanted to know what they were thinking, and he wanted to understand how to serve them. As Bart mentioned, he was a listener. He wanted to listen to those who and receive the advice. Neil, I will still call you for the advice and counsel because I think that's a valuable tool that we have to address and get the information from former council members. I think the other aspect that Neil has is that he had great patience. He had patience to listen to the other side or both sides of the issue and make those decisions which is best. Neil, I thank you for your service and your commitment to the residents of Ogden. And the only other thing I can say, Neil, job well done.
No, I just want to say thank you for your service, Neil, and I am very, very honored and I'm very happy to have served with you. I wish you the best in your new chapter in your life, and I'm also just as excited to, as you said earlier, to have our new council member, councilwoman that will be joining us here, taking your place. Taking on the new adventure soon. So, to both of you, congratulations on your new chapters in your life. Thank you.
I guess I'll take a second. I guess I'll turn on my mic. How's that?
Good idea. Good start.
As I was a brand new, shiny council member, still wet behind the ears, as my dad would say, and I don't know really what that means. If anybody knows what that means, let me know. The very next morning, the call I got was from Neil about the officer shootings, and he kind of, he was the chair and tried to get me up to speed, and because I didn't know what to do. There was no protocol that I was aware of to deal with stuff like that, and he was the chair that year, and when I was in that formative year as a council member, and I very much appreciated his leadership, the hand-holding that he did for me, and that was. He didn't have to do that, and I recognize that, and I do appreciate the extra effort that he took forward to do that. Also, some of the times that are the most fond to me was when we were sitting around the Dutch ovens that Real Men Can Cook. He and Doug were there the very first year we did that, and we didn't win anything that year, but we sure had fun cooking it up for the others that came. Got to know his philosophy. He has very high character. You don't need to worry about Neil's character. It's fully intact, and you can trust him to do what he says he's going to do. And he always picks the high road, and that's a good character trait to follow. I appreciate him for that. I was sad that he didn't file again to run. I tried to encourage him, and because of, he is a real stabilizing factor for all of us on the council. He's just that kind of a person. However, one thing that does remain constant and that is change, and change is happening today, and you don't get better without a little change. So I look forward to the things that you will do in the future, Neil, and I will wish you the very best too. And thank you for being my friend and for the leadership that you've shown to the council.
Yep. Thank you, Chair White. It's funny, as we all thought about things we wanted to say about Neil, I think we all came to some similar conclusions, and it had to do with his character. So, Neil, I think that this community owes you a great deal of gratitude. But I personally, I want to thank you, not only for your service on the council, but for your example. Your ethics and integrity are something that we all wish to emulate, and I only hope that I can serve my time here with ethics and integrity similar to yours. I think that as you go out into our community and enjoy the fruits of your labor and the labor of so many others. There's no doubt that your legacy lives on in a lot of decisions and projects in this community, but I think that your legacy here on this council will be your influence on people, and that you have influenced us to make the right decisions for the right reasons. And I thank you for being that example. And I commit to you to work on making sure that your influence lives on, at least in me, and I hope that that benefits Ogden. Thank you, Neil.
So Neil, actually I'm going to say Councilmember Garner for the last time. You know, having both a soft heart and a strong soul is a hard combination to master. However, you've managed to do so as not only a council member, but a community member and a family member. You've held true to your convictions and remained humble in your heart, and that shows up here in each and every one of us. You've let your actions as a leader and definitely as a friend define and tell your story. You'll truly be missed by all of us, and thank you. Thank you very much. So, Councilmember Garner, if you'd like to step down, and newly elect Councilmember Chaburka, if you'd like to come up and sit in his seat, we are going to move on to the administration of the oath of office. Welcome. Take a big breath. All right.
Thank you.
Got to post it now.
I know, yeah.
You can't just take it, you have to post it.
It says municipal water.
She wants the white one.
Social media influence has definitely been compromised.
Council members, if you please stand, newly elected. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
Support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
Constitution of the United States.
and the Constitution of the State of Utah,
the Constitution of the State of Utah,
that I will discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
office with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Change your mind now.
as they put that on the board. Well, Councilmember Chaburka, welcome.
Up.
And you are up as first.
Hello,
6A,
everybody.
right there on the agenda.
Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate it today, as well as throughout the election process. I have to say that my journey to this point has been very humbling. I feel so honored that many people are entrusting me to represent them, and their concerns at the city level. I've been welcomed so graciously by the current council members and the staff and the outgoing council member, and also the city administration and staff as well, and I really appreciate that. And I do apologize in advance for my numerous questions and inquiries. I think you've already realized that I'm not too shy to ask. I ask a lot of questions. I'd like to take another moment to recognize Neil. I didn't have a chance to do that. He's served in this seat for 8 years, and that's really admirable. I hope I can live up to the kindness that you've exuded to me and everyone else, and that you'll regard me as a person that you can always advise or reach out to with concerns and issues at the city. Thank you, Neil, for doing that. I also want to thank my family and friends, which are scattered throughout, who helped make this possible for me. Without your hard work and patience and guidance, I would not have been able to pursue this position, from making phone calls, knocking on doors, to just being willing to take my picture or listen to my ideas or concerns. They helped me achieve the goals that I set out to be elected, so I appreciate that so much. I hope that the 3 values I promoted throughout my campaign will stay in my foresight, and I'll hold them dear. They were community, equality, and accessibility. And I do remain committed to these values, and I'll continue to seek ways to make them possible, to improve access to information, to have equal voice in all of our processes in the city, and to build on the strengths of our community rather than look at their deficits or the challenges that we have. I'm a proud East Central resident, and I'll do my best to represent not only my district, but the city as a whole. And I thank you all very, very much.
Councilmember Blair,
Yeah,
you're next on the agenda.
I noticed. As I look across this, makes me nervous. When Neil and I came on, we had the fortune of having a Susie Van Hooser with us who we could kind of lean on and say, hey, walk us through this. And as I look through here now, I'm starting to get in that role. And I'm not ready. So, Angela, keep Neil's number, and I can get you Susie's. No, I just want to thank a lot of people for allowing me to be here today. I've truly enjoyed my time serving with each and every one of you and with Neil, and I look forward to serving with Angela. And I'm excited for the council that we have. I'm thankful for the councils that we've had in the past, which really makes me excited about the council we have now. I think we can do great things, and I think this is a much different city than it was 8 years ago, and I'm excited about where we're going, the direction we're taking, and the things that we're willing to look into, and the issues that we're willing to address and to tackle and to incorporate into our city. I'd like to thank all of the council staff for helping me along during my time here and continuing to help me along, and I'm thankful for the administration and the accessibility that they have given us to work side by side with us on issues and allow us to work with them to get some things accomplished here. I'm truly honored to work with each and every one of you, and I can't sing their praises enough. These are wonderful people that represent each and every one of you, and it's an honor for me to sit up here with them, and I'm thankful that I get to do it again.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Councilmember Stevens.
Well, we're at the end of this table, so when you sit on the council, there's many things that has to happen. One of them is the support of your family. and friends. And I have had that type of situation. I want to thank my wife, Sandra, for the sacrifices and that she's made, because I'm not there on Tuesday nights, so I don't know what she does on Tuesdays, but there are some sacrifices that the families make, and I appreciate that. During the campaign, I've had my daughters, Melinda, Suzanne, and Julie, and their family help out. In fact, the grandkids passed out flyers, and they come back and say, when can we do this again? And so, they had a lot of energy. And we have Natalie. She flew in from Austin, Texas, to be with us this day, and that was a special moment for us. I had my brother, Byron, and my sister, Carolyn, which helped out a great deal, and I appreciate that. I appreciate those who supported me in my campaign. There is a vision and a focus that we have for Ogden, and I call them the 3 Ps. The focus and the vision that I will have is to have a positive direction for this community, to continue with the with the progress and the growth of the city that we enjoy at the present time, and to produce opportunities for those who work, live, and play, and even visit our great city. I'm excited to work with my fellow council members, because there's going to be some issues that we'll need to work together and work out. There are still many things that need to be done and accomplished here in our great city to move it along. And we have a great staff, a council staff, that assist us in doing that. I want to welcome former council member Amy Wicks and Susie Van Hoosier, because the contributions that we're doing today and the success that we're doing today in Ogden is due to the work that you've done beforehand. And then also Bill Cook was at the helm for many of the items that we're looking at today, and the ways of improving the city. Has had his hand and his fingerprints in directing those affairs. And then Janine Ellen Smith was taking over, and we have not lost a step there. She provides us the leadership and the counsel and the direction that we need, and I appreciate that. On my Facebook, or on my information from the city, Brittany had a year-end review, and I thought that was outstanding, and I enjoyed that. She outlined those things that we actually did and accomplished in Ogden. The diversity of our community is one of the elements that makes us a little bit different than those other communities. The College Town Initiative, working with Weber State, the trade tech colleges, and the Ogden School District, is a valuable tool for us to move this city forward. Cultivating neighborhoods, developing quality neighborhoods is another initiative that we need to work and pursue. Community and economic development, that's what's the driving force of providing the services that us as residents enjoy. Public safety and transportation and fiscal sustainability are all necessary for a healthy and progressive community. And then the active and healthy lifestyle that we have here in Ogden with our environment and our trails and so forth. The community outreach programs by which we can reach out to the community to improve those areas that need to be improved. There's an Indian quote that says, "It takes a village to raise a child." I would like to change that a little bit, and I would like to add to it, it takes a community working together to continue with a positive direction, the growth of the city, and provide and produce the opportunities to continue for those who live here and work here and play here to enjoy those opportunities, and to let them know that everyone is welcomed here in Ogden. The success of Ogden is when we work as a community together. So to improve our city, we must work together to raise our city to a higher level. I'm appreciative of the opportunity serving. I know we need to today, after today, is to roll up our sleeves and begin our work, but it's a great opportunity to serve the citizens of Ogden. Thank you.
I actually have got some comments in the closing remarks, so if I can move on to comments from council members, other members.
Chair White, I'll be brief.
Okay.
Councilmember Traberka, we are thrilled to have you. We are saddened to see Neil go, but we're thrilled to invite you and to have you on board. I should tell you that I'm pretty sure I own the record for most questions asked.
Yeah.
But when combined with the number of questions Councilmember Lopez asked, that was
I'll try.
it was a long year for the council and the administration, for which I apologize. But I think that you'll be comforted in knowing that your peers on this council or your colleagues in the administration will be supportive along the way as you ask your questions. I'm told that turnabout is fair play, so be ready for plenty. But as you ask your questions, you're invited, encouraged anytime to call, to anytime you need support or clarification. I've learned that no one here knows everything, but amongst all of us, we seem to have a solution for a lot of things. So welcome aboard, thrilled to have you, and ask away.
Just congratulations to the re-elected, my re-elected colleagues, council members, congratulations. Thank you for your service. And congratulations to our newly elected council woman, Traberka. Welcome. And I really, really welcome the gender diversity to our council. That's, I think, very important. Thank you.
Chair White, if I can take just a minute, though, and I made a few notes of things to bring up. These kind of events they're milestones in a city, is when we say goodbye to the old and welcome the new. They signal a start of something else, whatever it might be. We've got to find out what that something else is. And that will require much discussion. This is somewhat breathtaking. You don't get to see this as we do, to look out and see all of the faces that are here. We've got former Councilmember Wicks that has been mentioned a few times. Our former Executive Director Bill Cook, Susie Van Hooser and her husband Dwayne. These are staples for the city. These are the shoulders that we stand on as we do the work we do today. So we cannot take the credit for the way the city is. It's because we've stood on these shoulders. I also need to mention Caitlin Gochner, who also was recently moved on to a different season in her life. And Neil, you mentioned her, but I didn't see her. Is she here somewhere? Okay. I thought maybe she was behind a post. So, yeah, I bet you she is. So, anyway, it's just, those are some that I have had the pleasure to work with. Many of you, the dignitaries that have come, President White, and I'm going to say et cetera, because I can't name all of you. That's one thing that Neil could do. He remembers everybody's name forever. And I have a really hard time with that, but it's a pleasure to have the support of all you people that do much, if not most, of the hard work that happens in our city. It's just awe-inspiring to look out and see you, and to know that we have a common vision, and that we can roll up our sleeves and work together to make Ogden better. Many movers and shakers here today. Now, I hope I was going to be the first one to mention Brittany and the year in review. I am not. In our staff, in our administrative, or the staff, the council staff, we have such great people. We do tend to take you for granted, but I want you all to know that that we think very, very highly of you and the work that you do. Glenn, you get that planning foundation under you. That's where I came from, and so I did identify a lot with you. So much love our staff, and think we can't do much better. But with Brittany, we have to say goodbye to her soon, and we will be so sad to see you go. You have done such a good job and raised the bar, as it were. My son was a high jumper in high school, and so that has a special meaning to me, that raising the bar. He could get his whole body over a bar that was 6'6". I could get under that bar really easy. Every time it got raised, I could go under it lots easier. But Brittany raised the bar for our council, and very much appreciate her. She's introduced some new things, the live council meetings, the outreach has been much, much better since she's brought some of her skills to the table. And we will miss you, Brittany. But Councilmember Chabarka, welcome.
Thank you.
If we can't have Neil, we're glad we have you. And I don't mean you're second at all. We very much appreciate the good people that throw their hat in the ring, and I tip my hat to everybody who does that, whether they win or whether they don't. It's a frightening thing, and so I appreciate people who do that. But welcome to the council, and please consider. Don't hesitate to call and ask questions. The only stupid question is one that doesn't get asked. You're fully aware of that. So I ask plenty of questions myself, and my questions often are stupid, but yours won't be so. But anyway, what a great day for Ogden to move forward on, and thank you.
So, I'll turn my mic on. So next on our agenda is nothing that's on our agenda, but I'd like to give the council or the mayor an opportunity to have some remarks as well. I don't know how we missed you.
That's okay. I'm happy not speaking. This is your meeting and an opportunity to celebrate those four that really put themselves out there. As I look around at the room as well, there are a lot of people that are influence makers and decision makers that have done great things in this community. I think everybody in this room respects the effort it takes to put your name on a ballot, go knock doors, get your message out, recruit volunteers. And so huge congratulations to you all, and we'll reiterate our desire and promise to continue working with you all. I think I agree that we've been able to collectively accomplish some amazing things, and look forward to the new year. And if you have any questions, we'll extend as well. You guys can call us anytime, and it's our commitment and duty to go to work on getting you answers. So we've appreciated the working relationship and expect that to continue. But really, huge congratulations to everybody that put their names out there, and to the family and friends that supported them. And again, thank you, Neil, for your service to this community.
Mayor. So I just, since I'm chair, I get to go last.
Is that the book you're going to read?
I am going to read a book. So I too want to thank, and actually starting of importance, I want to thank the people in the audience, because you're the reason why we do what we do. You're the reason that we're up here. You're the reason that you push us. You're the reason that we make changes. And so I want to thank you for doing that. I want to thank the council staff next, because you're the reason that we go in a direction, in the same direction. And I'm sure that's not easy ever. 7 of us going in 7 different directions isn't easy, but thank you. And then last, I want to thank the council members that I get to sit with and push me and push my envelope on a daily basis as well. So welcome, Councilmember Chaburka, and we look forward to seeing what we get to do. And yes, I have a book. I'll try not to read it. I kind of wanted to do a 2017 year-end review, not quite like Brittany did because hers was much better, but I know I'm getting older when I say this year has really flown by, and I seriously mean this year has really flown by, and I'm pretty sure that that's something my grandmother would say, but anyways. Most of the people you ask don't know how hard it is and how much work we put in throughout the year. And most of you would be amazed that we come in with very little information about a city, but we learn very quickly the breadth of, a wide breadth of knowledge about our city. And we do it because we need to do it to garner to be a better council member. And each of us have spent many hours doing that. As an FYI, we spent 83% of our Tuesdays together this past year. Love you all. And that's just Tuesdays. I won't mention all the other meetings, town halls, ribbon cuttings, parades, work group meetings, and just calling one another throughout the year. Add that to the countless hours we spend within our community engaging our citizens. We spend a lot of time together. This past year, as a council and staff, we focused on our efforts in 9 key areas. I want to reiterate them so that you know that we actually do have a vision and focus. Active and healthy living, community outreach and engagement, diversity connections, college town, cultivating neighborhoods, community and economic development, public safety and other essential services, transportation, and that sexy thing I always call fiscal sustainability and transparency. We did things like Idle Free Week, the Mayor's Walk expansion of High Adventure Park, commissioned a new competitive sports board. We did a new website. We are live streaming our meetings. We did a first ever council virtual town hall meeting. That was fun. We do things like Make a Difference Day. We did 41 honorary recognitions and proclamations, numerous parades and ribbon cuttings, police and firefighter swearing-in ceremonies, newly formed diversity commission, and my list goes on and on. We did things like funding roadway and sidewalk improvements, continued implementation of a bike master plan, a general fund comprehensive financial sustainability model, vacation rental amendments, and yes, even backyard chickens. So we do a lot of things, and like I said, it's a breadth of knowledge. Over the last year, and really any given year, we'll bring to the table many challenges and changes. But the real test is not if they will stop coming and hoping that they won't stop coming, but the test is how we choose to deal with them. At a time when our national politics seem to occupy the airwaves and the crazies on both sides, yelling and screaming at each other, I'm really proud of our council and the way we find solutions to our challenges. And I don't mean solutions waiting for problems to happen, because I know that happens in a lot of other council meetings. But I mean well thought out solutions to our everyday problems and everyday challenges. I know many of you heard me say that our job, if you choose to accept it, and I had to throw that line in, I did a weekend of Mission Impossible, is to make sure that we create a vision for the city, and then we create good policy that maintains public safety, health, morals, and general welfare of all the citizens within the city. Many of us have varying different opinions on what good policy is, but I am honored to be surrounded by all of you who respect each other's opinions and who truly listen to each other's points of views. I would say that civility and respect are 2 words that describe our council. So why do I get up in the morning and decide to spend more time with you than my spouse, my dog, or my friends? Because I have a vision that as a group, we can get more done to push our city forward than we can individually. I believe that there is a drive and a purpose to make the city an even better place to call home. I had to throw that in. Yes, that was my campaign slogan, but that's in each and every one of you, and I want to surround myself with the best of the best. And yes, that is a Top Gun line, my all-time favorite movie.
Oh, that's good to know.
You know, I received this quote in a card from someone at Christmas. And as an interesting point of view, this someone is Jewish, yet knows that I believe in Christmas. Yes, different points of view, but a collective view of a world bigger than us. And this quote, I've come to believe that each of us has a personal calling that's as unique as a fingerprint, and that the best way to succeed is to discover what you love and then find a way to offer it to others in the form of service, working hard, and also allowing the energy of the universe to lead you. Oprah Winfrey. So, Councilmember Heyer, Councilmember Blair, Councilmember Nadolski, Councilmember Stevens, Councilmember Lopez, Councilmember Chaburka, Janine Miller-Smith, Glenn Symes, Amy Maybe. I had to almost put in Amy Sue Maybe because Amy Wicks is here. Brittany Griffin, Mavis Hawley, Amina Khan, Mayor, Mark, the recorders who are with us on those 83% of the nights, and all of you, the city personnel, and all of you that are sitting in this room tonight, thank you, and here's to 2018. So with that, next on our agenda is the adjournment.
I think Councilmember Chaburka might want to make that.
Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Motion by Councilmember Chaburka, second by Vice Chair Heyer to adjourn. This is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's a wrap for this one.